Today on Extraordinary Explained, Fear Form. What if the thing that terrifies you most could become your greatest weapon? Imagine transforming your own terror into a physical manifestation of horror that grants you immense power. The boundary between nightmare and reality is about to blur. Fear, that primal emotion that makes your heart race and your palms sweat. Most of us spend our lives trying to overcome it. But what if, instead of fighting fear, you could harness it? That's the essence of fear form, the extraordinary ability to physically transform using the raw power of fear itself. Also known as horror form, terror form, or scary form, this ability allows the user to channel fear through their body and soul to achieve a transformation that's often as powerful as it is grotesque. Think less superhero costume change, and more becoming the monster under your bed. When someone with this ability transforms, the fear manifests physically, warping their appearance into something nightmarish. Imagine skin splitting to reveal chitinous exoskeletons, limbs elongating beyond natural proportions, faces contorting into expressions of primal terror. And it's not just for show. These transformations grant enhanced abilities and sometimes entirely new powers. But how might someone acquire such an ability? Perhaps exposure to traumatic events could trigger a mutation in certain individuals. Or maybe ancient meditation techniques focused on confronting one's fears might unlock this potential. Some theories suggest that those who've survived near-death experiences involving intense terror might develop fear form as an evolutionary response, the ultimate fight option when faced with fight or flight. The mechanics of fear form operate on a fascinating principle. The user must first experience fear themselves to trigger the transformation. In some cases, they may need to tap into their own deepest terrors. In others, they might absorb and channel the fear of those around them. Either way, that emotional energy fuels a metamorphosis that defies conventional physics. What makes this ability truly extraordinary is its versatility. The user gains enhanced physical attributes, strength, speed, durability, often reaching supernatural levels. But more intriguingly, they gain the ability to manipulate fear itself. They can amplify terror in others, create physical constructs from fear energy, and even induce paralytic dread with merely a glance. Just imagine the practical applications. An emergency responder could transform to safely enter collapsed buildings, their enhanced durability protecting them. A therapist might use controlled aspects of this power to help patients face their phobias. And yes, in combat scenarios, a fear form user would be nearly unbeatable, not just physically formidable, but capable of psychologically disarming opponents before the battle even begins. Of course, no extraordinary ability comes without its connections to other powers. Fear form shares DNA with broader emotional transformations and mode-switching abilities. It's closely related to dark form transformations and malefic force manipulation. Some theorists even suggest it's a specialized version of fear embodiment. Rather than becoming the literal embodiment of all fear, the user becomes the embodiment of specific fears. But let's be realistic about the limitations. First, the psychological toll would be immense. Imagine regularly experiencing terror intense enough to trigger transformation. Many users might be reluctant to embrace their fears, limiting their potential. Others might become emotionally unstable, permanently frightened, or unable to regulate their emotions. In some cases, the fear might cloud judgment entirely. There's also a cruel irony to this power. In some manifestations, the very fear that enables transformation might render the user too terrified to actually fight. Picture it. You've transformed into a nightmarish creature of immense power, but you're cowering in the corner, overcome by the very emotion that triggered your transformation. And then there are the ethical considerations. Fear is contagious. A fear form user could potentially trigger mass panic in populated areas. The psychological damage inflicted on witnesses could be lasting. PTSD, night terrors, phobias. Would the benefits of such power ever outweigh the potential harm? That's a question each user would need to answer for themselves. Fear form represents the ultimate paradox, turning what makes us weak into what makes us strong. If you possessed this ability, would you embrace your fears or shy away from them? Would you use your terrifying form to protect others, or would the power itself corrupt you? Perhaps the most frightening thing about fear form isn't the monstrous transformation itself, but what it reveals about the darkness within us all. If you liked this video and would want to see more, please like, share, and make sure to hit that bell icon so that YouTube knows that you want to see more.